Hello, and welcome back to Film Culture Podcast. This is the podcast where I talk about movie reviews, updates, and trailer breakdowns. Now today, this is a theory video on the Batman, and I said I would bring in a special guest. So today, I have the special guest, my friend Levi.
Hi guys.
And today, like I said, today we were talking about theories, and we were talking about facts and what we know about the Batman so far. So I'll let you take it away, Levi.
Okay, so
A couple of facts.
Yeah, getting right into the facts. We see in most of the trailers, in the brand new trailer that just came out, we see the Gotham City, getting flooded, and also several pinpointed explosions that the Riddler has while Batman's interviewing him, supposedly in Arkham Asylum. And in the comic books, Riddler takes control of the electrical power and water grids in Gotham and blows all the city and power in Gotham and floods it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like 99% going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, and a special pinpoint. And from what we saw in the book, speaking of comic books, we have heard that the Batman is going to be based off of two comic books, The Long Halloween and Year One. And so with the Long Halloween, the plot is that in the holidays there's a series of murders going on, which is the same thing in the Batman. So, and it says the Batman has to team up with Jim Gordon, who just became detective, but we know in this one he's not detective. He's actually deputy, if someone didn't know yet.
And in Batman Year One, is based more off Catwoman's story and how she became to be Catwoman with all the crazy things that happened in her life, how she went from foster home to foster home and learned how to become a professional thief.
Yes, so we know that from what the director's saying was that the Batman is not an origin story on Batman. It's more of an origin story on the villains in the Batman and how they are now going to be a threat to Batman. So, like the Riddler, why he does his riddles, and why Catwoman acts like a cat, which, if you think about it, it's kind of like a furry.
We also know from the comic books, after Selina was cast out from like her 6th or 7th foster home, I think, which is pretty crazy. She went to this place called Miss Oliver's home for unwanted girls, and she trained them to become a professional thief to get priceless valuables and money, and so Selina gets her affiliation with cats because she gets kicked out and beaten one evening, and she runs away into an alleyway nearby, and there's like 25 stray cats, and she just makes friends with all of them and runs away with them. So,
which we kind of do see in the new Batman trailer, where Batman is in Selina's house, and he's like, "You got a lot of cats." She's like, "I can't handle strays." Which kind of goes towards the orphan theory and the orphan thing from the comics and the cats in the alleyway. So now let's go into the theories, because we know a lot of stuff. Which actually no, before we go into the theories, I have one thing. So they came out with a cast interview, Fandango, which is a ticket place, came out with a cast interview, and Robert Pattinson said, which is going to lead into one of the theories, he says Bruce wants to be Batman full time. He thinks Batman as his true self. Basically saying that he doesn't want to be Bruce. He doesn't like being Bruce. He enjoys being Batman, and he enjoys helping people, not being this
billionaire playboy that is served for Gotham City.
That everybody's expecting him to be this jealous or spoiled kid.
We also have this because I did a bit of research in the Batman trailer from a few days ago, Sacrifice. Someone quotes, "Like it or not, it's Riddler's game now." And I did a bit of research on that, and it's the very same voice actor from Batman Arkham Knight, from the Arkham trilogy. It's the same voice of Harvey Dent / Riddler, so we're expecting him to make an appearance.
Yes, so with Harvey Dent, which is going to probably now lead into Two-Face joining in, probably in a sequel, 2, 3, we don't know. Let's go into the theories. I'll take it away with the first theory, which when I was talking about Bruce wants to be Batman full time. I have a theory, which this is a small theory. We don't have much evidence to, but after Robert Pattinson said this, I was like, this actually could become true. Now, Bruce will fake his death. Now, when we were talking about the flood, that's actually the perfect time for Bruce to fake his death. Where in the flood, he can say that Bruce drowned and Bruce is dead, which now can give him the opportunity
to just be Batman full time.
Yeah, just to be Batman. And everybody just will think he's dead and all the Waynes are gone. And I would just give him the opportunity to really stop villains and give us more of a open world on just Batman, not just Bruce.
I also have a page full of riddles here, my notebook, about some of the things that Riddler said, and in almost all the trailers they have, in the funeral scene, Riddler says, "If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price of your blind eye?" And we frequently see throughout this movie, like, lies and, like, Thomas Wayne, like, being referred to as a liar and a murderer. So I think, since Batman, like, thinks very highly of Thomas Wayne since he was his father and he thought he was a great person, I think the whole blind eye thing is, like, Bruce doesn't know anything about his father and Riddler's trying to expose this to him.
Yes, and now that actually leads into our next theory, which is that Bruce's parents are corrupted. Like he said, that Bruce is kind of blinded by the fact that his father is putting in lies and is not telling the truth to the world, which is the Riddler's goal is to get rid of the legacy of Thomas Wayne. And we also see in that 3-minute commercial of the funeral scene, Bruce walks in with this lady saying, "I know your parents have a history of philanthropy, but as far as I'm concerned, you're doing nothing for this city," which can lead towards that his family were not helping the city. They were actually doing the opposite. They were the reason maybe Gotham is not the way it's not the way it's supposed to be.
Also, I think that could be possibly that interviewer. That could be Vicky Vale, which means we could have a bit of a reference to Lady Arkham coming up in a different movie.
Exactly. Now we don't have a bunch of evidence going towards that his parents are corrupted as well, but we get those little teases that really Bruce doesn't know much about his parents, and that his parents were not what he truly thinks they are.
I also have a reason to believe that Catwoman has a distant connection with the Riddler, because in the comic books, the Riddler several times have tried to capture and kill Catwoman, but she always escapes, so there might be some sort of beef between those two that we eventually will figure out in the movie.
Yes. Now we will. Now let's go back to that flood, which is another theory that we had, which is the Riddler will win in this movie, which we have a good amount of evidence going towards. Now, like Levi said, about in the comics, he controls the electrical power, and for a quick second, I will pull up this quick little tiny video of the explosion happening And you can see before it explodes.
Yeah. You can see in the explosion the thing. It's a top-down view of some box that has a bunch of wires and stuff next to it, which I believe, and Logan believes too, it could possibly be a generator, and after it explodes, all the lights near it go out, so that enforces the generator theory that he's going to cut off all power. And later in the trailer, we see Batman with a flare walking around in like chest-deep water with a bunch of police officers, which I think that's also ties into the flood theory, saying that he's going to cut power, not let anyone get out of Gotham, and flood it to make basically sort of a dystopia.
Yeah, so, like, going towards saying that there was a theory back in the day with The Dark Knight where it was the Joker kind of is saving Gotham, not destroying it, which actually you can kind of see in this, if our theories are correct. The Riddler is kind of destroying Gotham, but it's kind of saving Gotham in a way.
I also quote Riddler in one of the new trailers. He says, "The only reason I'm here is to unmask the truth of this cesspool you call a city."
Yeah, so I think he's trying to reveal all the bad stuff that's actually truly happened in this city. And by the end of this, we will come out of the theater feeling like now he has the idea of saving Gotham, but it's not the right idea. Now he's trying to destroy Gotham, and I don't think even Batman knows that this city could be not savable.
And also, in the comic books, Riddler's kind of thing, like, he wanted Gotham to either get smart or die. And he quotes in one of his riddles, "Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were," when Batman questions him. And I think originally his plan was to just expose what Thomas Wayne did and that he actually might have been a horrible person and a corrupt leader. And now he just wants to kill Batman because, like, Batman isn't a great detective as he made him out to be.
Yeah. And, yeah, just going towards just what the Riddler is truly after. And that he's gonna win. And I got a little bit of this, but I went more deeper into the theory. But I took this theory a little bit. I'm gonna give a little shout out to the Film Theory YouTube channel. With Matt Pat. I'm gonna give a little shout out to that YouTube channel for giving me the idea of that theory. I'm pretty sure, put down in the comments if you watch that channel, because I think everybody should. He's usually 50% of the time right.
I also just kind of, while Logan was talking about this, I kind of made this connection. So, Riddler once worked for Wayne Enterprises under Thomas Wayne, and he might have, like, stumbled upon something that Thomas Wayne was doing that was, like, incredibly corrupt, and that's what made him get his motivation for this whole thing he's doing in Gotham City.
You know, while you were saying that, when the Riddler figuring out about Thomas Wayne's corrupt, this corrupt plan that he was thinking about, that actually could be the reason of his death, is the Riddler could have already started setting up his gang, and he sends out part of his gang
Joe
to
Chill.
to go kill Thomas and Martha Wayne.
We also have No More Lies is constantly appearing around the film with things connected to Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne and Batman. And also at the very beginning of the original trailer, we have Riddler wrapping duct tape around around a corpse's head, and then he writes "No More Lies" on that. So I think that could be someone connected to the Wayne family, like Lucius Fox, perhaps. He wants the whole "No More Lies" thing supports the theory that he wants to expose Thomas Wayne even further.
Yeah, like in the trailer they say it's all about the Waynes. Yeah, so he's going after all these people to go kill the Waynes and stop and just stop them from all this stuff. Now, that's all the theories I had. Now, Levi, I'm pretty sure I like this theory. I think this was a really good theory. I think you should tell the audience this huge theory that you had.
So, I believe that the Court of Owls is going to... So, we were expecting a big surprise at the end. The Court of Owls is, like, there's almost no doubt in my mind that they're going to be somehow tied into this movie, because I also made the connection with him saying, so, Riddler says, oh, you're a part of this too, and then Batman responds by saying, how am I a part of this? Then he says, oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. At that moment, he wants to kill Batman, but also, this might be a bit of a stretch, but Riddler, it could be a part of the Court of Owls, and the Court of Owls have these basically warriors/assassins called Talons, which they train to, like, extensively, and they're just incredibly skilled. And I have a Court of Owls comic book at home. It takes one Talon to almost kill Batman. He pushes him to the edge of his life, but then Batman just barely manages to survive at the end. And there's also, in a different comic book, this guy named Lincoln Marsh in Batman and the Court of Owls Volume 2, who believes he might be a bit of insane, but he believes himself to be Bruce Wayne's little brother, Thomas Wayne Jr. And I think he might be saying, you're a part of this too, because he's saying you're tied into this whole Court of Owls thing going on, and Lincoln Marsh could be your brother, like. And I also believe, so the Court of Owls they were based off a nursery rhyme that came out of original, like, Gotham, like when Gotham was a new city. There was a whole urban legend, and there was a nursery rhyme. It was, beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from the shadows, from a shadowed perch. But hold on, I can't even read my own writing. Yeah, behind granite and lime, they watch you at the hearth, they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word about them, or they'll send the Talon for your head. And every time a Talon kills, they torture their enemies, the guys that they're gonna kill, and then they finish it off by taking a Talon. They have, like, these basically, like, daggers that are shaped like talons. They always finish it by throwing a Talon through your head. And I think this could be a bit hypothetical, because Riddler could be, like, technically a Talon, like, technically sending the Talon for your head, because he just, instead of killing you, he, like, sends the Talon for your head by just kind of making you go crazy, with, like, because all this stuff that he's doing is just completely far-fetched and incredibly confusing. And I think that might be a bit of a stretch, but he could be like a Talon in training, or it could be a Talon, but like special forces, I guess, for the Court of Owls. And I also think, because at the very end of the Court of Owls book, they send out every single Talon that they have, and I think that could be a possible end to the movie.
Yeah, leading into basically Batman.
The Batman 2.
Yeah, the Batman 2, which, we're gonna probably see, because, this movie is probably gonna get a huge box office success.
Yeah, and there's definitely gonna be a lot of questions surrounding this movie.
Yeah, and we're gonna just, especially because, I think there's a huge budget to this movie. I'm gonna look that up while you keep explaining your theory.
I also have reason to believe that the Penguin and Batman may have a short-lived kind of truce together, because Penguin and Carmine Falcone, who Penguin works for, are a severe enemy to the Court of Owls, because the Court of Owls pretty much controls everything going on in Gotham, and Penguin and Carmine Falcone control the mafia in the crime city, like the crime world in Gotham. So they're enemies, and Batman's also enemies with the Court of Owls, so they could have a short-lived truce together to just try to take down, like, the biggest threat at the time, which is the Owls.
Wow. Yeah, so I just looked it up, and the Batman got a $100 million budget for the movie, which that's what people are guessing is going to be that opening day box office rewards for the movie, is that they're thinking it's going to hit 100 mil. And if it doesn't, we're going to get a sequel, because it's probably going to definitely earn its money back and more to make a sequel. And I just wanted to add in this little snippet of a theory with the Batman's armor. If you look at the Batman's armor, you can see his symbol on his chest looks different from everything else.
All the other texture on his outfit.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people guessed that this could be the gun that killed his parents, and once he went after this guy that killed his parents...
Joe Chill?
Yeah. And he kills him, which also makes him decide he's not going to kill people. Which will now make him decide he's not going to kill people, and he takes the gun and he puts it onto his chest, and because we can kind of see on his chest these like hole marks and stuff that looks like and resembles a gun. So, and pockets for ammo. So, now Batman, we all know, never uses guns. So why would there be pockets in his chest piece that would be good for ammo?
I also think this movie is going to live up to, like, not more the action hero type thing that you normally get with Batman, and more, like, to the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, it's going to be a detective movie, like how I said in a previous video. I said this is going to be more of a detective movie. Now, we had hints of that in Batman Begins, but other than that, we did not get a true detective movie, which now looks like this is what's going to be the detective movie.
I have one final thing to tie into the Court of Owls. So, when you see him walking through the chest deep water, it looks like it doesn't exactly look like he's walking through Gotham City, like an alleyway or like a flooded street. I think he's walking through the sewer. The Court of Owls have an underground labyrinth that they use to torture their enemies, like to torture people that have been challenging them or try to stop them, and then they put a Talon in there with them, and you basically have to run from the Talon or die of starvation. I think someone's gonna somehow stumble upon that labyrinth.
Ooh, yeah, that would be good, because Batman in that chest deep water with all those people behind him is going to be maybe a bunch of cops, and that will lead to the Court of Owls sending all the Talons out for Batman, setting up for the sequel. We've never seen the Talon. We've never seen the Court of Owls or a Talon before in the Batman, so this would be a great opportunity.
Yeah, and we've also been talking about what kind of genre this movie is, because people have been calling it like a horror movie or a thriller or an action movie. I think it's not going to be exactly a horror movie, but there's definitely going to be some like alarming parts in it, and you're going to be just feeling a little bit disturbed while you're watching it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And now all of this is going to now, like we said, this is probably going to all tie in to the Court of Owls, and this is going to lead up to this huge finale. And now this is just our theories. Now, if you have some theories down in the comments that you would like to address, maybe we'll make a future video on your guys' theories. Now, put that down in the comments if you got any more theories. We can do maybe another video. And, like the video if you, enjoyed this, theory video, and let me know if I should do more theory videos, because it seems like you guys really enjoy these, because I did a theory video on the Lightyear trailer breakdown, and I did a theory video for that one, and you guys seem to like that. We got 2 likes, but I mean, hey, a like goes a long way. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You got anything left to say?
Be sure to like and subscribe to my boy Logan, or I'll appear at your house tonight and send the Talon for your head.
I did not even plan for that. Okay. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. This is Film Culture Podcast, signing out.